Welcome to A&B Horror Movies. I'm Aaron, and I am joined today by Vince from Dread Alert Media, and we are very excited to chat with Gabe Howard and Lacey Katena. Welcome to you both.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us on the show.
Absolutely. We can't wait to talk with you about your brand new film called Sugarcane. Gabe, you co-wrote and produced, and Lacey, you star in this film as Phoebe. So congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello? No, 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 no!
Since you've been with us, you haven't taken a single day off. We appreciate the help, but
We think you should take a few days off.
Police are asking for your help to track down a missing girl that they believe may have been abducted right outside of her workplace. Authorities say 17-year-old Phoebe Foster was last seen leaving Ugly Mug Bean and Brew late last night.
Hey.
Damien. There is something going on, something bigger than you and I know, and I really need your help.
I'd rather enjoyed our time together, haven't you?
The police can't stop people like this. I mean, there's nowhere these people can't get to.
All right, what do you need from me?
It's called Sugarcane. It's this sadistic website where people are tortured live on camera for viewers all over the world.
This isn't a suicide mission. If we can't save her, we abort and we go to the police. But we can't keep chasing these shadows.
The police don't know who they're looking for. We do.
You and I, we are just getting started.
Let's jump right into it. So, Gabe, my first question is for you. What was the inspiration for Sugarcane? How did it come about? How did you get involved with the project and co-writing it with Pat Baker, who directed the film?
So, as we were starting to throw out ideas of like, all right, so what's a very good introduction into our first feature film, right? And we were bouncing around a whole different ideas. We were like, what type of horror film do we want to go into? Do we want to go more the slasher route, suspenseful route, thriller route? And it was one of the co-founders of Postmortem, named DJ,
Mhm.
Daryl Postley Jr. He pitched an idea to us where it was sort of a live commentary on the nature of webcam culture, live stream culture, something that is very prevalent in today's world, as well as delving into something which is the nature of trafficking, of human trafficking, which is
Mhm.
something that both Pat Baker and DJ have not, delved in before. And he also pitched us the idea of like, how far are we willing to go against our own humanity to either seek approval or trying to survive in this day-to-day world that we live in.
Mhm.
So when he pitched us that idea, we were contemplating like, okay, how do we present this idea? So initially, like the core foundation of the film was actually going to be a standard. A victim was going to be captured, and their whole thing is trying to escape. Um, but when we were conceptualizing that idea, both Pat and I were thinking, well, what if we kind of turn it on its head a little bit? What if instead of someone being captured for the sake of trafficking and they have to try and survive, what if someone who has been trafficked hears about someone else who's been trafficked and wants to help them escape. So we conceptualized the cold open with the Bunnyman
Hmm.
as well as Lacey's character Phoebe. And I think after we wrote those initial 7 pages, we both were like taken aback. We were like, this, I think, is the direction that we want to go in. And then once we
Yeah.
established the character of Mari and Damien, we just writing was very constant. Like every day we would come home after a long day and we were like, let's see how much we can write today. Let's see how much we can
Hmm.
conceptualize and get on paper. Before it gets too late in the evening and we gotta go we gotta go to bed. So it was very exciting. I think once we nailed that foundation, that we were like, yeah, let's just keep it going. So that was really the inspiration and kind of the writing process as well, like how we continued on from that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And what an amazing way to start the film. And then, just sort of laying the groundwork for it. It's incredible. It's scary. It's intense. And I do want to talk about Bunnyman, but I will stop here and Vince, turn it over to you to ask your first question.
Well, I think Lacey is our way in. Phoebe, through Lacey, is our way into the film. She was so
Hmm.
charming, and I was rooting for her the whole time. And Lacey, I wonder, was there a way that you approached the pre and I hope it's not a spoiler, post-abduction scenes,
Mhm.
uh, as well as the abduction scenes themselves? Was there a difference in your process? How did you approach Phoebe in general?
Well, thank you for saying I'm charming. I appreciate it. I think I think throughout the whole thing, there wasn't a lot to go off of with Phoebe, with like character wise, because from an outside perspective, you see, okay, abducted girl, and it's like that's really it. But as we continued like going through like the writing process and like the development of Phoebe of the character, um, I really just kind of brought a lot of myself to it. Like a lot of Phoebe, especially in the beginning, like I worked at a coffee shop. I worked at Dunkin' Donuts for years. I've been working in the service industry for a long time. So I was like, okay, in that first coffee shop scene, it's like, hi, how can I help you? That's very much just how it was. And I also, as we went through the post abduction scenes and the scenes that got a little bit more intense, I wanted to make sure she didn't become this kind of martyr. I I didn't want her to become this like full victim. Obviously, she was the victim, but I wanted to make sure that there was still a fighting spirit within her the entire time because if I was in that situation, I would still be fighting for my life. And I even like really allowed myself to get angry and finally instead of giving up getting mad. I thought that that was something that we took and really kind of played up more than anything. And I think that's also probably one of the only things that helped her as the movie finishes is like remembering that anger and remembering that like I still have something to live for. And so yeah, to kind of wrap that up with a tiny little bow, it's like I just kind of the entire time I was like, what feeling would I be feeling right now if I was being screamed like if somebody was screaming in my face and being a psychopath? I would be angry. So I allowed myself to be angry. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and it worked so well. Go ahead, Vince. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it raised the stakes of the situation, and if we're not
Hmm.
rooting for Phoebe, the bottom falls out of the movie. So I think anchoring those stakes in something real really helped the film overall, and it was really an exciting thing to watch.
Yes. Oh, for sure. Fantastic job. You mentioned that you did work in a coffee shop. I have to ask, did you ever have sort of a creepy customer in your
Oh,
experience?
many. Oh, come on. That's
Okay.
like part
So
of
the
it.
inspiration was there right from the start.
Yeah, I mean, I was also like peak 15 working at a coffee shop too. So it was always like,
Mm.
you're standing here just a little too long and you're looking at me just a little too long.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it was very easy to go, okay, I remember this one guy who just sat in the corner and stared at me for the entire day. Let's use that.
Fantastic. And it worked so well. It's so believable. You did such an amazing job. So
Thank you.
congratulations there. Um, well, adding on to that,
Mhm.
what were there, was it difficult to disconnect from your role? So you embody Phoebe 100%. And there are some really traumatic moments in the film. Was it difficult to walk away from that? Did you need a few days to sort of I don't know, take a deep breath and exhale and just become Lacey again.
Yeah, I think for anybody doing something that emotionally taxing, it's always going to take a bit of time and decompression to get out of that. I, on the
Mm.
other hand, did not have a lot of time because at the time I was in two musicals and I was doing like five other things while we were also filming.
Oh, I love
Um,
that.
yeah, like I was Elsa in Frozen Junior, and Elsa didn't have a voice. Miss Thing was completely like couldn't sing at all. But I took whatever I could, and it was like I took time to disconnect afterwards and really like process everything.
Hmm.
And I felt very supported on set, but it was also difficult because we were in like a really cold basement and it was like spooky. And
Yeah.
Michael's a fantastic actor, so I was sitting here going, "Oh my god, am I actually being kidnapped right now?" And so it was tough, and I've done my best to remember that like it is all fake. And on set, it was a good
Of
reminder of
course.
like, hey, this is all fake, and taking breathers and taking breaks and doing what we needed to. That's also why I haven't like watched the film more than the premiere. I've seen everything except my scenes, so I'll watch all the way through, and then I'll like skip my
You
abduction
cover
scenes
cover your
because I'm
eyes.
like, I don't cover my eyes, walk out the room, do something, because it's not even that it was a traumatic experience. It was more just
Right.
I want to be able to appreciate the film outside of like going through and nitpicking everything about my performance, if that makes sense.
I see.
It
I see.
does.
But yeah.
It
Yeah.
took me a very long time to be
Mhm.
comfortable on camera. And for those of you who don't know, I was a professional actor on stage mainly, but I did film for like
Mhm.
25 years. So I relate to that so hard about not being able to watch yourself. It's such a challenge.
Mm.
And
Mm.
the thing is, I can usually watch myself. It's just this project means so much to me. And I have so many things that I would go back and redo now that I've actually taken an acting class. And I'm like, God, like if I could do this, I could. Ugh. And so I just, in order not to like make my brain fry, I just like, you know what? This is the
Mm.
past. Leave it in the past. Let's keep going. So
Well, I will say your role, you are fantastic in it. So believable. You did such a great job. So one day, if you do watch it,
thank
at
you.
least know going into it that you are going to be blown away because your role, you were amazing in it. Um,
Thank
so
you.
there
I
you go.
appreciate
There
it.
you go. Um, yeah, Vince, I'll let you jump in here.
Gabe, I wonder, speaking of Michael and how good of an actor Michael is, the Bunny Man is so complex. There's such a weird
Mhm.
psychology going on there, and there's so much vacillation in his character between these impulses he has and the benefits he receives from doing what he does, but also his home life is extremely uh, a mess. It's disjointed, and his home life is
Yeah.
terrible. Where was the inspiration for this complex villain that we have not really seen since maybe a Buffalo Bill or a Francis Dollarhide? He's iconic in his own right.
Norman Bates. Even.
Norman Bates, yeah, we have not seen these villains frequently.
Mhm.
It's first of all, thank you for the both the Buffalo Bill, Francis Dollarhide, and the Norman Bates. That's huge honor, as I love all three of those. All three of those films are like top 10.
Yes. Yes.
So it's just to say that is an honor. But um, when we were developing the idea of the Sugarcane website, we did not want to pick or develop a villain that was going to be one dimensional. If the Bunny Man was going to be a one dimensional villain, it would have, to us, it would not have translated well on screen. It would have been almost one note the entire time. So we realized that like we wanted to give the Bunny Man depth. We wanted to give Michael's character depth. And we wanted to showcase that the website Sugarcane was not just full of these stereotypical blank mask villains. These are people, and we wanted to throw out the idea of like he's irredeemable in his actions. There is absolutely no defending him in the slightest. But if there's an audience takeaway that we wanted to see, especially through his interactions with Marjorie,
Mhm.
his mother,
Right.
we wanted to showcase that like you understand what position he is in. You understand that like he's doing Sugarcane as a way to let off steam. the victims that he has had. This is his way of letting off steam. Again, not redeemable in the slightest, but with his mother having dementia, he needs the money from Sugarcane in order to pay off bills or pay off his house. We wanted to put him in a situation where the audience is like, oh, this is why he does the awful things that he ends up doing. And of course, without getting into the spoiler territory, the audience still hates him, and they are like, yeah, by the end of the film. But we wanted the audience to at least understand what position he is. It's a unique position, to show that there are people still behind the screen, even though some of them are horrendously evil human beings.
That's the hard choice to make.
Oops, sorry. If I could jump in on that. Even as Phoebe, there are moments where she kind of sits here and is like, was that your mom? She kind of starts understanding, and it's a tough thing as Phoebe to be like, this man is hurting me, but I can also see him hurting. And me personally, I have a lot of empathy for people I definitely shouldn't have empathy for. And it was easy to kind of lean into that complexity a little bit. We didn't go fully into that. We never took it that far, because I feel like that can lead into Stockholm syndrome territory, and we don't need all that. And so it was interesting to kind of lean into that as the script progresses. And yeah, I just wanted to add into that of how as Phoebe we felt that too.
Yeah,
that's
definitely
the hard choice to make as a writer. It'd be so much easier to write a one-dimensional killer and to just go with villainizing him. I'm happy you went the other direction and made the more difficult choice, the more complex choice.
Yeah, it took, I think the most amount of time I think we wrote in that script was just nailing Michael's character. I think the most amount of time we did revisions, and we just looked at his lines. We were like, is this something he would say? Is this something he would act in? Does this make sense? And I think that was the one aspect of the film. And of course, topping it all off is Michael's fantastic performance. I don't even think I need to go too far into that. Just
completely agree.
Yeah. So he was fantastic.
Stunning, right? And we're talking about Michael Mao, who plays Arthur, and the Bunnyman. And that Bunnyman mask, I have to ask, what was it like creating that mask? Because I could see that mask becoming iconic, even popping up at Spirit Halloween for Halloween costumes. And I know, Gabe, it's on your shirt. If you could show that, that would be fantastic. Oh my God, look at that. Yes, it's so good.
Oh, I should have worn my merch. Dang, now I feel unprepared.
Next time, maybe for Bunny or for Sugarcane 2, Bunnyman Returns, something like that. But
right.
Yes. Fingers crossed. Can you speak a little bit to the creation of Bunnyman and the mask design?
Well, that's actually very funny. Michael went into this in another interview, but to sort of paraphrase from him, when we were developing the script, Pat and I wrote in, Michael puts on his mask. I think this was during the first basement scene. There was no description of what the mask looked like. It just said he wears a mask to hide.
I remember that. Yeah, it was just a mask.
It was just a mask that he wore, and it could be anything. We didn't really have a design in mind. So one day, as we continued writing, Michael just sends a picture of a plastic paper, or no, sorry, not plastic, paper mache bunny mask that he just ended up wearing. And I remember also, as we were writing, Pat sent me pictures of Michael as a child, and he had bunny ears on, I think, for an Easter photography session with his family. So once we had those pictures, and when he made that mask, that's when we were like, this is it. This is the identity that I think we have to base the film around, as well as the tagline, don't fall down the rabbit hole. It made sense. And that was all on Michael's end. And once he sent us that, we were like, that's the direction that we have to go down. There's only one in existence. So there's no There's
Oh.
no copies of it. It's actually we're trying to be very delicate with it because it's kind of like starting to not fall apart, but we're fearful it will fall apart. So we're
Yeah.
trying to keep it as intact as we can. But it was once he sent us that, that's like that's it. That
Mhm.
we just knew what Bunnyman had to be and had to look like.
Yeah,
I
it's
remember
so
speaking with
good.
one of the
So good. Go ahead,
producers, and
Lacey.
she was
Mhm.
like, there was she was like, yeah, the script's moving and da da da. And she was like, oh, and then Michael sent us this the other day. And then she just sends me this picture, and I said, oh, I'm nervous. I'm scared.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
and he just made it, handmade paper mache, just out of nowhere. And he's a very crafty guy. He's very creative. And so I was like, oh, he gets it. He knows the script and he can just feel the energy. And I'm like, this is gonna be
Yeah, it's
crazy.
so good. It's so good. Yes,
It,
yes. I'd love to hear that that was your reaction. That's awesome. Yeah.
I wonder what your relationship was like with Michael, not only just in general, but like in between scenes on set. What was your relationship like with him?
It was tough because like obviously we both had to be in character, and he is a father of a daughter around, I guess, my age at the time, I think a little bit younger than me. And so the entire time we were both kind of hyper aware of this is really tough for both of us. And me personally, I kind of deflect with humor. I've always been that way. And so like in
Yeah.
between scenes, like, I remember coming in, I was like, we like set like, hey, keep it very somber at this part. We need to make sure that Lacey stays in character, blah, blah, blah. Mind you, I hadn't done anything like that before, so I thought that's what needed to happen. And then in between scenes, we'd yell cut, and then I'd be like, can somebody wipe the snot off my nose? I can't use my hands, and like just like giggling and making jokes and really keeping it light. So it was like on my end, it was
Mhm.
like super light. And then every time I would work with Michael, we both had this understanding of like, this is an actor space and this is where we need to be in a flow state. And it was, yeah. And then like afterwards, every day we'd be like, we chill. And you'd be like, yep. And then we kind of move on because it was just, we were both just very in it, and we both understood that there needs to be a very strict level of professionalism when it came to our dynamic. While I didn't necessarily keep that with everybody else, it was like with us, we had to keep it kind of locked in, if that makes sense.
and
That's
to
really interesting.
Mhm.
kind of bounce off, I give nothing but respected kudos to Lacey and Michael. You know, I say that about the whole cast, like, you know, with Josie as Mari and as
Mhm.
Kellen as
Mhm.
Damien. But Lacey and Michael, especially during the most intense scenes of the film, I can't say how proud I am of them. How just I'm just really blown away that they were able to maintain that professionalism and just come out the other side with some excuse me with some kick-ass performances.
Yes. Yes. Well said. Absolutely. Uh, Um, Gabe, I want to ask you about this from a writing perspective. What is your creative process when it comes to writing screenplays? Do you like to, I don't know, do you have a movie playing in the background? Do you like music playing? Do you like being in a public space? And then adding on to that, what's it like co-writing, writing a screenplay with a partner, like with Pat Baker in this case?
So there's like a solo process in there, like you said. There's like a
Of course, yeah,
co-writing
yeah.
process. How I like to write solo is I do like to have some music on in the background, but before I even open up my laptop, what I
Mhm.
like to do is I like to have a notebook open, and I just want to write down the sequence of events in the film. Like what are who are my characters? What are the sequence of events? What's the feeling that I want to
Okay.
give this screenplay? And you know, what's the first thing I do before I even write characters is what is my log line? What is like if I had to
Mhm.
summarize this, if I had to pitch this in an elevator, what is my story about? Because if I don't have that, I don't have a story. And then throughout just writing in my notebook, once I feel like I have all of the pieces, or even like flashcards, if I have all the flashcards of scenes and I'm able to visualize, okay, scene one, scene two, scene three, how does scene five connect back to scene three? Once I have all of that out there, then I feel confident opening up a my computer and write in, fade in. Um, with a writing
Oh,
partner,
okay.
With
Yeah.
Pat, it was a bit more of an interesting process because, like I mentioned before, we were in the document every day. We were developing the story. Like we would develop like, okay, what are the next couple scenes out? Like sometimes there are days where like, okay, let's plan out these scenes and then we write them. Or next scene, let's write it the same night. it was kind of constant, but one thing that we were always doing is we were always in communication every single day, opening up that document and editing it. Whether it was writing one action line or 5 pages, it did not matter. As long as we were making progress, that was all that we needed, and that goes for, if there's one thing I can say to all writers out there is any small amount of progress that you can give each day is worth it, because one day it will be completed and you'll look back and you'll be like, wow, I actually finished the screenplay.
Right.
That brings me
That's
to a
true.
good question.
Go ahead.
Do you have any advice for early career producers? Lacey, do you have any advice? I mean, it's no secret that Sugarcane has kind of at least taken the TikTok sphere by storm, at least with my colleagues and the reviewers. Do you have any advice for early career actors who are looking to break into an indie or to break into a film? Or Gabe, if you have any additional advice for writers who are early career, I think that'd be interesting for me to hear.
Well, I can go in on my perspective real quick, and then I'll pass it on over to Lacey on the actor-actress side. If there's one thing I can give one advice for both producers and for writers, always be ready for, it's kind of a cliche to say, but be ready for anything. Be ready for compromise. Be ready for blood, sweat, and tears to be poured into a project. There's a quote that I always like following. The amount you put into a project is the amount you get back. For Sugarcane, we put in every single thing that we had at postmortem. Our crew and our cast worked day and night to get this film, to make this film work and to get this film out. For writers, I'd say, be ready to make changes. Don't think that once you develop your screenplay, it's like, all right, it's locked in, we're all set and ready. There might be times where you have to make changes on the fly. That's okay, but just keep it to the foundation of the film you've already written. And for producers, just like similar, always be prepared for, this location is suddenly not available. How do we have to block our actors and actresses the same? We have to get a new location. Or, someone is not ready on time. Okay, what do you do as a producer? There seems to be a lot of people that are like, making a film is, I can make a film in a weekend. Sure, theoretically you could, but is it going to be up to your standard and quality? That's the question you have to ask yourself. So, and then I'll pass it over to Lacey for the actress side.
Good advice. You have to pivot, right?
Always
Plan
have to
for the
pivot.
unexpected. There you go.
Exactly.
And honestly, that kind of ties into what I was going to say for actors. There's something so interesting about the way that I approached the industry when I was younger. And because I started when I was like prepubescent. So I kind of had this impression on the industry that it owed me something. And I think I really thought that, oh, well, I want to be in this quality film and I want to do this and I want to be an indie darling and whatever. And I tended to look down on things because I was young and immature and I didn't understand that the industry doesn't owe you anything. All you can do is come in, and don't expect anything. And that comes into the work too. It's like when you're as an actor, I've been learning this recently in my new classes. But it's, as an actor, you can't go into a scene or go into work with expectations, because what you're going to do is you're going to micromanage it and try and make it go the way that you want to. And that's not going to mean that you're fully in it. And you're not going to be experiencing the scene in the way that the actor is supposed to be experiencing the scene. And that's the same in life too. And in projects that you do. And it's like, everything that I tell like young actors when I meet them, they're like, how do you get into that? Like, how do you start it? I'm always like, do student films. Find an art school near you and just do student films, because because they're regulated. They have a strict learning process. While it is still like something, it's not like a Disney project. It doesn't matter. As you're starting out, you want to get to a place that's professional, yet also knows what they're doing and has a strict timeline. So you can basically get the experience of being on a big set in a student film and learning from that and being observant. And I also so it's not expecting anything, remembering that the industry and life doesn't owe you anything. All you can do is bring yourself to it. And then also I wouldn't know a thing about the industry if I hadn't have sat with my mom and my mom going, watch. I would be on set, and I'm just a very observant person in general too. Like, I'm a talker, don't get me wrong, but I do like to sit and watch things as they're happening. I would watch the PAs as they move. I'd listen to specific terminology, and if I didn't know what it was, I'd be like, hey, what does this mean? And so it's asking questions and wanting to learn and be willing to learn and reading the books. Oh my God, I've met so many actors out here who don't want to learn about the craft of acting. And I'm like, yo, read the books. It's not that hard. You can take what resonates and leaves what doesn't. But it's just being observant and wanting to learn and willing to learn and kind of just being a sponge. That is so important, because to me, if I meet an actor and from a producer side of things, if I meet an actor who is wanting to learn everything and is just so open to experiencing and is just not expecting a single thing, I'm like, you are on the right path. Come with me. Let's go this way. And so, yeah, I think that I just said a whole lot of nonsense, but I think it's the things I go on that rant, but it's more just not expecting anything, remembering that the industry and life owes you nothing, and being observant and watching and learning and wanting to learn. Because I feel like if you don't want to learn and you're in this industry just to be an actor, you're not going to go anywhere, because you need to learn and you need to understand outside of that. And you also, it gives you kind of a leg up, because when these producers or these casting directors, they're talking about things, you can go, oh, well, I know what this is. And I know what a casting package is. And I know what an agent package is. And it's like, oh, da, 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 da. And it helps you understand why you are going in a certain path. Ever since moving out here and learning and talking to people, it's helped me. It's helped me so much not go well, I'm not getting cast because I'm not pretty. Girl, that's not the case. You're not getting cast because this person has this connection with this casting director, or this person has this connection with this. And it's just being willing to learn and wanting to learn and just keeping my head down and focusing on my craft has helped a lot. But with young actors, it's being observant and not expecting anything and just going and doing student films, doing short films, have those bad experiences, have those crazy, you can go back and go, ooh, that was a mess. But it's something that you can learn from and have a fun time. And just in the moment, it'll feel like a lot, but then later on you'll be able to go, okay, well, I saw what happened here. Let me just make sure that doesn't happen here. So, yeah.
I think that's well said on both of your accounts, but it mirrors a lot of my experience breaking into the industry when I was coming up. That's really well said.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. And you can apply that to not just acting, anything in life, right? Be willing to learn, try new things, get practice, and expect the unexpected. And there you go.
Yes.
My gosh, those answers were fantastic.
I was about to say, Lacey, that's a mic drop from you right there. I was just
oh my gosh,
oh
yes.
my God.
And we're done. Thank you both for joining. I joke.
It's just it's funny because that's the way that I'm trying to live my life. And so as it always becomes easier for me to learn something if I'm teaching somebody else. And it tends to resonate more when I'm oh, hey, this is the way that I'm trying to live my path. And then I'm oh, wait, this clicked for some reason. Saying this out loud to somebody else really clicked. And so now it's easier to continue with doing what I'm doing because I've talked about it with other people. And it's not just you guys, but I've been talking with a lot of people about it too.
Yeah. Well, it's very motivational. And I think you would make an excellent mentor for anyone coming up in the business. So there you go. I had to say it.
Thank you.
Okay, back to Sugarcane. Just a couple more questions. For those who haven't seen it, and this is for both of you, how would you describe Sugarcane?
Ooh. I've had to do this a lot recently because a lot of the people at my studio have been oh, what's your movie? And I'm and I have to figure things out to say. But Gabe, you can go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think this has been kind of compared a lot ever since like
Mhm.
we've been partnering with our distribution company and such. A lot of comparisons to these films, but if I had to describe it using films, it would be
Yes.
the psychological complexity of The Silence of the Lambs, mixed with the thriller elements of The Black Phone,
Yeah.
with a hint of Norman Bates and Psycho mixed in the DNA, just like a little sprinkle of it. Yeah, exactly. I said a little sprinkle.
A little salt-based sprinkle. You gotta do the whole elbow thing.
It's very funny
I
because
love that. Yeah.
I wrote Sugarcane, funny enough, before seeing Psycho. It wasn't until after seeing Psycho that
What?
I was like, did Alfred Hitchcock like his spirit or something like just like help me write the words on the page? It was very fascinating to watch that film, a film that was made decades before we wrote Sugarcane. And I was like, oh, all right, somebody else just was bumping brain cells with me just a couple decades prior, but it was just very fascinating.
Yes.
And we've been getting those comparisons between those particularly the Black Phone and Silence of the Lambs a lot. Again, especially
Mhm.
Silence, because that is a top 5 film. Never forget watching that for the first
good.
time.
Oh, for
with
sure.
that, so.
Yes. Yes.
And Lacey?
It's funny that the Black Phone is mentioned so often with our movie because I have like friends in that movie, so I'm like, oh hey, we twin. Anyway, but
And the sequel is coming out soon.
I'm excited for that. That'll be cool.
Mhm.
I think the way that I always describe it, I'm always like, if you're gonna watch it, just make sure there's no children in the room. Like I'm like, it's spooky.
Mhm.
It is gory. It is what I've been told about specifically my scenes is that they're like very hard to watch because it's just
Yes.
brutal and gruesome. And so I'm always like, just kind of go in expecting gore. I think it's something I always say. I know that's like not very movie or thematic or anything, but that's what I tell people. And like ditto, like the Silence of the Lambs, the Norman Bates, all that kind of stuff. Because that's what I've been told they're compared to, but also like watching it and then watching those films because I'm trying to get into watching like old horror and sitting through and watching the classics and whatever. I'm like seeing so many parallels. I'm like, oh, this is what people are talking about. Now, since I've been willing to
Yes.
learn, I can understand it. Like, so very much ditto with that. And I always tell people it's like, at the end of the day, it's not a story about a victim. It's a story about survival,
Mhm.
and it's a story about like 2 strong women coming together and making their way out of a bad situation. Let's just say that.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that works. I think you both really sold the film. Vince and I are fans. We really enjoyed it. And this has been amazing chatting with you. Vince, I have one quick question before we get to the this or that, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to jump in if there's anything else you would like to ask.
No, I think we hit most of the things that were on my mind. I just want to echo the fact that we are both very, very big fans of this film. I think that what you've been able to accomplish as as an independent studio, and with the resources at hand, you punch far above your weight with this film, and I recommend everybody give it a chance, check it out. You won't be disappointed.
It's so good. It's so good. Actually, that one other thing that reminds me, will we ever get a physical copy of it? Do you know if I'm all about physical media? Do you know if we'll get a Blu-ray
I know. I was going to
too
say this
soon?
before before the interview started. I loved your background. I'm just like
Oh, thank
that's
you.
what I want my collection to look like. I just have it in one little one little cabinet right now.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course. Currently, we do have plans for physical distribution, but we do not have a date for it at this time. So
Okay.
all I can say is once we have a date for physical distribution, we will be promoting it. We will be hyping it up, and because I'm also all about physical media.
Excellent.
It's very funny not to. I was speaking with my family about like owning DVDs. I own even a VHS player and VHSs, and they're like, "Why are you owning these technically inferior physical
Yes.
media?" And I said,
Mhm.
I own them. it's with me now. It's not like on because streaming practices are like a movie is available on X platform till this date, and then it's
Gone.
And it's gone.
gone
Right.
or moved hopefully to another streaming site. But
Yeah.
no, I own it. It's in my house. I own it,
And no one can edit it, right?
exactly.
There's
one
no
can-
editing happening with these films.
Exactly.
I'm looking at
Excellent.
you, Near Dark. You can't find Near Dark anywhere on streaming, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Oh my God. When I was trying to find 28 Days Later, I got lucky by finding a physical copy at a convention. And because you check online, check on eBay, they're all sold out or they sell for ridiculously high prices. I copped mine, I think, for $10. And I was like, that's a steal. I snagged it. Yeah.
it's going for like 40 near me. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
40. Whoa.
40 for a used Blu-ray.
Blu-ray.
I've got a DVD and a Blu-ray of it up somewhere up here, right there, but I can't reach it. My
I
numbered
was able to
movies
watch
are
it on
right here.
streaming recently, thank God. But
cool.
I think it's on actually I don't want to lie because I don't know which one it's on, but it's either on Tubi or it's on one of the other like streaming platforms. But yeah.
I bought it on Fandango. I committed the cardinal sin of being a physical media collector, and I bought it on Fandango.
How dare you?
I know.
I can
We're
edit that
disappointed in
out
you.
if you want. Yes, we'll edit it. All right, let's see. One last question, I promise, before we do this or that. Do you have a favorite film or favorite films from 2025 so far? Other than Sugarcane.
Darn. No. Okay. I can't just do I'm always like I can't just do one film, but if I had to pick one, Sinners, Ryan Coogler is I could rate
good.
It's so good, yeah.
I could fill up the rest of the interview just talking about it, but Sinners, if I had to pick a number one, that is definitely number one. Weapons would probably be in number two. And then just for giggles, the Naked Gun, the new Naked Gun film.
Oh my God, no way.
I love Airplane. That is also in one of my top 5. Airplane is fantastic. And I love the original Naked Gun, and I had tears streaming down my face at the midway point of the movie. I've never laughed as hard as I did in the theater.
Really?
Until seeing in a couple years since seeing the Naked Gun. So yeah, those are like my top 3 right now, 25. But you know,
I love that. I didn't expect Naked Gun. Cool. I'll have to check it out.
Me neither. That was so fun.
It's just a fun movie. I had a lot of fun seeing it with a couple of my folks. So, how about you, Lacey?
Okay. I'm gonna have to do like a top 3 again, but these are all like at the same level top 3. It's like the favorites. Sinners as well. I love that movie. I want to see it in theaters because I saw it at home because I missed the theater window, unfortunately. I know, and I would have given anything
big screen. It was so good
to see it on the big screen, but to hear the music and the sound. Because one thing about me is like music is so important to me, and they do such a good job. And also the kid's voice. I've like heard live performances of him, and I just would give anything to hear it in person because I think I would die. I think I would start floating. Maybe I don't know. It was just so beautiful. And then I saw Superman on opening day in like big IMAX theater, like on the Universal City Walk, the really big screen. I saw it on that.
Oh, now I'm a little jealous.
I was about to say, I came in just like almost a little bit too late, like right after the opening credits had started to roll, and I was like, oh shoot, and I had to get there, and I sat down, and I had already seen a lot of stuff about it. I already seen the press and everything, but watching it, I was blown away. And I know it's like, it's not something that you're supposed to walk away with like a new understanding of life or anything like that. Like you're just supposed to walk away with an appreciation for the movie. But I really, really enjoyed like the hope that it brought to my heart. It like really reminded me like to love being human, because that's like a huge part of the movie is like how much he is human and all that kind of stuff. But it just like, I was like, wait, it is kind of a privilege to be alive. And it is kind of a privilege to be a human being, and it just reminded me of that. And also, David Cornsweet is the love of my life, so it was fantastic to see.
He
love
is
you, Kate.
Superman.
I
Yeah.
love him. I love him. And then, what was the third one that I saw? Like, I think if I saw Weapons, that would be my third, because I've seen so many clips of it, and I'm like, I just need to see it in person. I need to watch it. But I saw it Together recently. That movie was really good.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. I want to.
Neither have I.
I saw a screening with the Q&A afterwards, and they talked about it. And I don't know what's going on with that whole process, but I listened to them talk about it, and the movie itself was very good. And the CGI was fantastic. And most of it, like the big scenes, like the like crux scenes, the important ones were done by the director. So he did all the VFX and like a lot of it by himself. And just generally, it made me appreciate it a little bit more. But it's also like, it's about codependency and like toxic relationships. And you see that in the body horror of it all too. And the body horror was very well done. It was cool.
I can't wait to see
great
it.
things about it.
Yeah.
I hear great
here.
things.
I can't wait to see it. I was on vacation when it came out, and then when I got back, it's not really playing anymore. So I think I missed my window. But soon enough.
I just have a toddler, so my going out is limited by a 2-year-old.
And you know what? That's fair.
That'll do it. Yeah.
Wouldn't trade it. She's great.
Oh.
Soon you'll be able to take her to like the cartoon movies. So
yeah, it's going to be awesome. We took her to a concert at the Ren Fest yesterday, and she was way into the Crack show. She loved them.
Oh,
excellent. Oh, that's so cute. Yes. All right, let's jump right into this or that. So like I said before we started recording, there's no right or wrong answer, and it's usually kind of fun. So I will kick it off with 2 movies here, Night of the Comet or Night of the Creeps. And if you haven't seen them, that's okay too.
I have not seen them.
I have not seen them either.
Oh
my gosh.
Let me go on record and say Night of the Creeps is fantastic, and Tom Atkins delivers a career performance.
Yes.
All right, I'll put that on my letterbox.
Watch that one first.
Same here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Night of the Comet is just silly fun.
I love silly fun.
Yes. 80s classics right there. Vince, do you want to do the next one?
Survival horror or extreme horror?
Survival horror.
Yeah, I'm gonna say survival. Yeah.
I think there's just so many classics in the survival horror genre that you can just whether you're just watching it, there's like a plethora of films out there to watch it, or if you're just writing it, there's so many, like you can mine so much from just that type of horror. But yeah,
and elements of that in Sugarcane. Let's see, 2 movies here. Hopefully you've seen these: Candyman from 1992 or Hellraiser from 1987. Pinhead or Tony Todd as Candyman.
So you guys don't, I think I'm gonna have my film card taken away, but I have not seen either of those yet. But if I had if I had to pick one based off of like
based on the villains.
Based off of the villains, I would probably pick I'm sorry, the
Candyman or Pinhead. Doug Bradley.
Pinhead. Yeah, Pinhead. I would take Pinhead. No offense to Tony Todd, but Pinhead.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Hellraiser as well.
That's a Sophie's choice right there. That's a tough one.
It is tough.
This or that. Domino's or Pizza Hut?
Domino's. That's not even a question for me. There was Domino's by my childhood home, and they knew me very well. Yep.
having that Domino's connection. Honestly, I would probably also pick Domino's if I had to pick between the two of them. So I can't even lie. Domino's all the way.
Okay. Let's see. Back to movies. Hopefully you've seen these 2. Resident Evil from 2002 or Silent Hill from 2006.
You got me there. Actually, I'm gonna need a second to think about it. Lacey, do you wanna take over real quick?
Okay, so I haven't seen both of them in full. I've seen parts of Silent Hill. So I'm gonna choose that one simply because I haven't seen all of Resident Evil. Like I think I've seen more of Silent Hill than I have Resident Evil. See, my horror knowledge is not very kept up because I do like spend a lot of time by myself and I don't necessarily want to watch horror movies on my own. So I'm like slowly like when I can force somebody to watch a horror movie with me, I'll like grab them and make them sit on my couch so we can watch a horror movie. But I most of the time choose like a romance or like an old French film, or like at work I'll be watching like American in Paris, like that kind of thing, because it's a little spooky to be by myself watching scary movies.
Yeah. Yes.
No shame there.
No shit. Yeah, completely.
I feel that, Lacey. Don't you're not alone there. I can assure you that. If I had to pick one, probably Resident Evil, because it's like the movies are not one-to-one with the video. I'm a big fan of the video games, Resident Evil, particularly the Resident Evil 2 remake. I played that stuff with headphones. My wife just, I don't think she's ever heard me scream that high. But the movies definitely they're fun to watch. They're very, very fun to watch. And like if I have some friends over and we're like, what do we watch? I'm like, why don't we put on the old Resident Evil films? Just get some popcorn, let's have a good time. So I'll go Resident Evil for this one.
Excellent. Again, no right or wrong answer. I love the dogs, right? The demon, what do you call them? The Doberman demon dogs and
the demon dogs or something like that. Those
so good.
Creepy.
Yes.
So creepy.
Yes.
So good.
Yes. Sorry, Vince.
I'm too big of a I'm too big of a wuss for horror video games. I can watch horror all day, but horror video games get under my skin.
I love watching people play horror video games, so I don't have to play them myself. It's like my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, but you can experience it. Yes.
And like they can get jump scared, but I'm like, haha, that's not me. Like I get scared, but I'm like, I don't have to deal with that.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
These aren't horror, but This or That, Seven from 1995 or Zodiac from 2007.
Seven. I love Seven. It's like one of my favorite movies ever. I watched it with like the biggest film buff I know, and he explained like some story elements that I had never seen before, like the concept of like two characters in a scene, like in the scene they're always moving towards each other or away from each other, or like all that kind of stuff. And he mentioned to me how at a very pivotal point, they're like throughout the entire movie, you can see them getting closer, the two characters. And then at a very pivotal point, you literally see them walking away from each other. And I said, whoa, that was like complex story. What? This is crazy. But it made me like appreciate it more. Also, that movie is just bone chilling and freaky deaky. And I love it.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to even compare that. What would you compare Seven with?
Seriously. Yeah,
seriously, right.
I got no notes. I'm pretty much with Lacey. Fincher just in general has such a unique style for Seven and Zodiac. But it's just fascinating to see him at play. There's not to go into spoilers for the film, but like, you know, for a couple decades old movie, but the very end, like
I think it's been 30 years. I think if you haven't seen it now, go ahead, spoil
it. Pause this, go watch that, and then come back and listen to our analysis.
Back. Yes, I love that.
There's this one video I was watching about like the very end of the scene. We all know the very end of the scene, but with how the camera is very shaky and handheld with one character, but towards another character, it's completely still. And Lacey, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the dynamic between cutting back and forth from the chaos to the bone chilling stillness of the camera. It's like I was watching that and I'm like, that's just genius. It's just genius of like how it's the camera's almost telling the story, you know. But of course, it's the magnificent acting between Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt, and you know, it's fantastic. But,
well, that also like tells a story on a different level of people that don't understand, like don't necessarily clock that, like the shakiness and then the stillness. It still affects the person because you're going, I'm panicking, but I'm not. And it's like it pulls your emotions in two different directions. Also, young Brad Pitt, I love him. Big fan. Yep.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
Yep.
He's the GOAT. And it just came out in 4K. So if you want to re-experience it for the very first time, check out the 4K edition.
Aaron, why would you say that? My
I was
wallet.
about to say, I'm gonna have to call Bank of America and ask for a loan. I gotta go.
Yes,
I gotta go.
yes, exactly. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Ghostface from Scream or Jigsaw from Saw?
Ghostface. I love Scream. The first day of October, every single year, I watch the Scream movie, and
Yeah.
that's just because it was the first horror movie that I watched that I like enjoyed, because like it was the first like older horror movie that I was like, oh wait, this is really good, and obviously it has its. I love slasher in general, like the teen slasher genre. That's my girl right there. I love her, but specifically just that has such a charm to it and such a cult classic. And last Halloween I had no plans, so I sat and woke up and watched every single Scream movie in succession.
Oh my
And it
gosh.
really made me appreciate the first one. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Mhm.
Um,
you
I'm really stumped, but you know what? As much as I love Jigsaw and his character, especially like the original film and the original first couple of films, like one, two. I have to rewatch 3. It's been a little bit, but I'm gonna go with Ghostface because again, without getting too much into spoilers and stuff, I don't really like talking about spoilers, but what Ghostface, like, I could just imagine myself in the audience back when Scream came out, and then playing on the tropes and on the the way that Ghostface is presented compared to other slasher films as well. It's his. I could see like the impact, the legacy that he's had on for slashers after when Scream came out.
Yeah, it definitely changed the genre, and everybody is just trying to replicate that now. Like I've met so many people who have the concept of like the killer calls, and I'm like, okay, Scream, I see you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like I've seen this before.
This feels a little familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, Wes Craven
tell
was
you-
genius. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm old enough to have been in theaters when that movie came out, and I can tell you it
Same here.
blew my mind. I saw it 2 or 3 times in theaters, and my mind was officially blown, and I don't think I've recovered since.
That and like seeing, if I could like go back in time, I would want to see that and then the first Star Wars movie in theaters without like thinking about it, just because I want to go back and feel it for the first time of like, this is revolutionary. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Vince. It was groundbreaking because horror at the time, like 95, was kind of not really that great. And Scream brought it back in a big way. And I was all for it. I saw it twice in the theater. Maybe not 3 times, but I definitely saw it twice on the big screen.
Yeah, we were definitely going back. I'd seen Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers prior to that, and was unimpressed. And so Scream made a horror fan out of me.
Yeah.
This or that, road trip adventure, or stay at home and read a book?
The cool girl in me wants to say road trip adventure, but it's stay at home and read a book. Yeah. I love my couch. Me and my couch get along really well. And I love a book because I just ordered like 3 books that I'm going to be reading in succession. But it's like my dad's such a reader, and it really rubbed off on me. I'm even debating like after this interview, I'm like, do I go to the gym or do I read? I'm just trying to decide.
Do both.
Yeah.
I saw someone walking on the treadmill and holding a book the other day. So that skill. They were walking very slowly. Go ahead, Gabe.
You just gave Lacey an idea.
I was about to say, you just changed my life. Thank you.
Honestly, I would also be in line with staying at home and reading a book. I think one of the things that's like, since I'm a natural like writer, I've been writing since I was like a little kid. I've always been reading. I've always been writing in tandem. That answer clashes with like I have my wife here. She would automatically be like road trip. She is all about road trips and like going 3, 4, 5 hours to explore places that like we've never explored before. But personally, for me, I'm a homebody. Read book, do nothing, It's great.
Sounds so nice. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. A couple more here. Hopefully you've seen these two movies, Mr. Brooks from 2007 or The Talented Mr. Ripley from 1999.
I haven't
Serial
seen them,
killer affair. Okay.
unfortunately.
A little
Yeah.
obscure picks
Mhm.
there.
The Talented Mr. Ripley is on my watch list. I just not
Mhm.
Me
had a
too.
chance
Yeah.
to. That, as well as, wasn't there a Mr. Ripley television show that just came out with
Hmm.
oh God,
Maybe.
what's his name? I think it was literally just called Ripley on
Mhm.
Apple TV with
Oh yeah, I think I've heard about that. Yeah.
yeah. I'm thinking of like watching the movie and then watching the show right after, but I have not
Ooh.
unfortunately seen
Well,
either of
there
those.
you go. And if you do watch, pair it with Mr. Brooks. I think Kevin Costner's in it. He's sort of a serial killer
Mm.
kind of play. Yeah. Okay, moving along. Vince, over to you. Two more.
Relevant to Sugarcane, Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs, or Patrick Bateman from American Psycho.
Oh. Oh, that is so tough. Why would you do this to us?
Yeah, that
Aaron wrote these questions. I'm just saying, it wasn't me.
they're both very complex.
And
I
very
will.
different complex. Like the way
Mm,
they specifically see women is very different, but they're both very
mhm.
complex. Oh, this makes me want to
I don't know.
rewatch American Psycho.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm also due for a rewatch because it's been a
Yes.
second. If I'm
And there's a 4K of that out too. Had to say.
Oh,
darn it,
uh-huh.
I'm gonna go with Buffalo Bill because
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna go with Buffalo Bill. His when you start the film and you hear about like all of his when you see his abduction, when he abducts, I believe it's like the senator's daughter or something like that, or
Hmm.
something
Yes.
along those lines. Um, at first you're like, oh my god, he's a horrendous human person, but similarly, not to draw parallels, but similarly to Bunnyman from Sugarcane, he
Hmm.
once you understand what his goal is,
Yeah.
you kind of like, darn. I'm so sorry, you know what I mean? Like once Clarice and the FBI put together the pieces of like why Buffalo Bill does what he does, you're like, okay, it makes more of a degree of sense. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
Patrick Bateman is just, you are watching him, you're along for the ride. You don't know
I was
what
about to
he's
say,
going
yeah,
to
you're
do.
just kind of
Oh
like,
yeah.
I don't know what he's doing, but I'm entertained and I'm
Yes.
confused, and there's so many feelings that I'm having, but I don't know how to place them. Like it's like, yeah,
And
Yeah.
deeply disturbed, especially with that whole bit with the chainsaw, without going
hmm
into it.
yep.
Ugh,
Mm.
it always brings a chill down my
Oh
spine.
yeah. The book is even more
Oh,
brutal
I'm
and
sure.
disturbing.
That's why I've
And
never read
That
it.
is a
I'm
tough
like staying
read.
away from that. Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
I like the connection you're saying with Buffalo Bill because you do sort of get a human element of him with his dog, his relationship with Precious. Not to
Yeah.
joke, but it's almost parallel with Bunnyman and his mother because you sort of see the human side um,
Oh.
in your film Sugarcane. Okay, so last this for that question, the Jaws franchise or the Halloween franchise?
Oh. That's tough too.
You know
Mm.
what? I'm going to go with Halloween, and I don't want Spielberg to hit me with like a lightning bolt or something like that. I love, I
I think you'll
love
be
the,
okay.
I love the original Jaws,
Uh-huh.
but I've not seen any of the other like Jaws 2 and so on. I've not seen any of the
Mm.
others.
Mm,
Halloween, I hear I've seen the original Halloween. But kind of the same deal. I've not seen 2 and Beyond. However, I do know people who've seen the remake movies,
mhm.
the more recent Halloween movies, and even like Halloween 2, 3. I think there's like H2O as well, and
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
certain sequels have a lot of fans for it. And for
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
reason, that's why I'm choosing Halloween over, because I hear nothing about the Jaws sequels at all.
Yeah,
So
me neither.
I'm just gonna go with Halloween for sake of consistency.
I agree.
I support that. Yes, yes. Halloween has some misses in the franchise. I think Jaws doesn't have as many movies. Jaws 2 is pretty good. The others aren't so good. I see
I
Vince
swear by
nodding and
Halloween,
shaking his head. Yeah, go ahead.
the subsequent Jaws aren't as good, but I swear by the David Gordon Green trilogy. That is my horror hot take that everybody comes for me for. Kills and Ends are solid movies, and Ends is a competent art film if you want to go down that road.
Oh.
Yeah, I love them too. I'm with you. Well, let's see. Thank you so much, Gabe and Lacey, for joining us today. This has been absolutely fantastic. We love your film, Sugarcane. If you're watching and you haven't seen it, make sure to check it out. And my very last question for you is, how can folks find you on social media if you want to be found?
You can follow us at Postmortem Films on Instagram and TikTok. And if you're looking for the Sugarcane handle, it is Sugarcane Movie, as well as also on Instagram and TikTok. I believe no, we don't have a Facebook. But yeah, Postmortem Films at Instagram and TikTok, Sugarcane Movie on Instagram and TikTok as well. Those are our primaries.
Excellent. Excellent. Let's see, Vince, thank you so much for joining. Check out Dread Alert Media. And one last time, Gabe and Lacey, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, this has been awesome. Bye, everyone.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.